Marco Reus. Daniel Malen! Wonderful!
Fantastic from Reus. Jude Bellingham, that's excellent. Jude Bellingham, this is absolutely brilliant. Jude Bellingham! Absolutely magnificent.
Reina, brilliant from the American. Just like that.
Graceful. Sally Hurts for Anthony Modeste.
Not a bad idea. And there it is for Coco. For Borussias Dortmund. The long wait is over. Unbridled joy in the Via Derby.
Hey, welcome back to the BVB podcast. My name's Jake, joined as always by Carver. How you doing, man? How's it going?
It's going well. Got another insane game at home. Not the best second half we've ever seen, but that's still 14 goals in the last 3 home games. So it's pretty wild. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well. We got it's like hot, kind of hot in St. Louis. I say that it's like only 80 degrees, but I was outside a lot today, and I was outside in jeans. That was the issue, and it's like, nope, it's hot. It's not fun anymore. Like I went for a walk this morning with my dog, and it was like, oh, the weather's perfect, and then like fast forward 2 hours, I'm just like sweating. But I mean, besides that, I'm good. If I'm just complaining about the weather, I think that's a good sign, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are here to recap, of course, the match on the Dortmund game, match on the weekend, beating Gladbach 5-2. Started off first half really well. Thought we were just going to be nice, easy cruising. Gladbach looked like they did not care about this match at all. And then I don't know what happened. And I mean, the second half, like you said, not as great. Not as just easy cruising as we would have thought after the first half. But you want to start with the lineup?
Yeah, it's completely unchanged from the 6-0 win against Wolfsburg. Gladbach set up pretty much exactly how you'd expect and how I touched on last week, barring Scally didn't start, which a little disappointing if you're an American fan, just because, I think he's got a really good argument to be one of our starting fullbacks at the moment, or at the very least, a rotation player for the national team. So I was hoping I get to see him play, but nonetheless, set up exactly how you pretty much expect. Started without as much urgency as you would expect from Dortmund, given what's at stake, especially at home as well. But nevertheless, scored a goal only 5 minutes in from pretty good build-up play. And like you mentioned, Gladbach, like Wolfsburg, actually just looked like they could not be arsed this game. Plain and simple. They were completely disinterested on both sides of the ball, at least in that first half. And once we were up and running, we just mercilessly punished them for it for a good 30 minutes.
Yeah, and I thought it was going to be, was it only 3-0 at halftime? And then like I thought this game could was 4. Yeah, I was like, this game could easily be 9-0 at this rate if they don't come out and do anything again in the second half. Like you thought we could have mercy ruled them or something. But I mean, kind of what we've been hitting on lately, it's like we've been getting these solid performances from everybody, but it's like the performances we've needed all year from like Malen and Adeyemi. Haller got a brace, which I don't remember. I don't think he's got a brace. Was this his first brace with us?
It was his first brace, and I wanted to talk about him first, actually. This is the best game we've seen Haller perform in a Dortmund kit. Not only doing the things that we talked about before and a multitude of times in these past few weeks about, creating the space and absorbing pressure, but also now he's finishing chances brilliantly, whether it be the back heel, the great finish 10 minutes after that. Terzic mentioned in the post-game media to Archie and ESPN that that's the reason that Dortmund signed Haller. He relieves that pressure on other players. He creates space for them. And he's not only growing in confidence game by game now, but his physical capabilities are coming back as well. He's getting back to full strength, which I mentioned this whole spring, really. It's going to take time, obviously, with everything he's been through. He's not going to be in, tip-top shape, and he's not going to be at the peak of his athletic ability. So it's just going to take time because, he was getting bullied by center backs for a while, and it's just going to take time for him to come back. And his story of just these past 8 months alone has been nothing short of remarkable. I mean, given with just the diagnosis, the treatment he's been through, the comeback, and let's not forget January. He was back before the restart even came back, and he was in friendlies, working himself back to full fitness, getting himself back into the squad, and now finally beginning to really fly in this team. I mean, he was immense this game.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that obviously he was going to get better as things progressed. Like I remember we talked about it multiple times, but he came back and like the thing was like, we can't be disappointed no matter the output, because the fact that he's here and like just on the pitch was insane. So like you kind of had to take what, like, I know there are people who are, I mean, obviously it was disappointing, like not having like a striker that was putting goals away, but I put that more on. I mean, we've seen goals from Mokoko, but I think I put a little more on Modeste in the early part of the season. But just to have him come back, like you knew it was going to be the slow progression because he wasn't fully fit, and you can't just come back from that and jump to perform at a professional level is just insane. But it makes sense that now he's been working towards it, and now we've been seeing it slowly over these last few weeks that he is like getting there. He is getting there, and now getting a brace in this game. I'm so happy because I'm sure there's been like some not doubts or concerns, but like on his end, you know, he was probably feeling a little down. Like I'm sure he wanted to contribute more. I'm sure he wanted to have a quicker recovery. I won't get into a lot of details, but like I've gone through a surgery. It wasn't cancer or anything, but I've been through like a multiple surgery situation, and just like coming back from that, like you feel bad, like, and down that you can't give what you know you can, because like you just have these physical limitations that you can't really control. You can't do anything about them. So just to get these 2 goals and like his performances lately, like just to build his confidence too, that's only going to help him keep progressing physically and mentally, and I don't know, as a professional and athlete there. And so it's really exciting.
Yeah, not only did Haller score 2 goals in this game, but he was involved in the first 4 in the first half, and just under 27 minutes as well. You know, the feint he had just a few minutes in for the first goal was sexy and created just an acre of space at the top of the box for the shot. Of course, it was blocked, but Malen was there for the tap in. Good instinct on him. And then with the penalty just minutes later, Jude's penalty was pretty underwhelming. I was honestly thinking if anyone, Haller would have taken that given just the game he was having already. But nevertheless, that goal, I mean, the 2 goals after that as well, the back heel first with the assist from Malen, and then again, it's pretty much, you know, almost a carbon copy of the great finish he had too. Same thing, cross coming in from the right side from Malen. And I mean, Malen getting 2 assists this game, and as well as getting a few goals as well. 1 goal and then 2 assists. And that's also 8 in his last 8 now, if I'm not wrong, or at least 9 in his last. Yeah, it's 8 in his last 8. And I want to just take a minute to submit a formal apology to Malen. Donnie, I know you're listening, and I appreciate you tuning in here. I am sincerely sorry for everything that I've said about you for the past year or so. I was completely ready to offload him in the winter. And hell, even into February, whenever he scored against Hertha Berlin, I was still thinking it was not good enough. I mean, 1 goal or 2 goals over the course of the whole first of the half of the season. But then the man just started flying. And I've read online that, you know, this is just speculation, but some people were saying he had a second. Well, it is confirmed that he had a second kid, but that might just be the reason of him picking up the form. You know, he's just now kind of playing out of his mind and having the confidence. But I mean, the man is everywhere at the moment, and again, with the confidence and not only just the scoring goals and the assists, which he's actually contributing on paper now, but he's still got that flair to him, which we talked about earlier. He hasn't missed that or lost that whatsoever. So I'm very sorry, Malen. I mean, he's been arguably our best player the second half of the season, or at the very least, these past 2 months or so. Would you like to add on to that, Jake?
Yeah, I think everybody needs to apologize to Malen. I just come back to being so disappointed after preseason. We had those preseason matches where he looked great, and then we're like, oh, he can only look good against 3rd division teams. This is all we're going to get. But, I mean, no, I apologize too, because I remember being real low on him, and I remember saying, like, just get him out of the lineup. Like, why is he starting? Doesn't make any sense. And I just hope that this isn't him overperforming. I hope this is like the potential that the Dortmund recruiters,
this is a new leaf,
saw and knew that this was the player that we were going to get. Like, I hope it's just not like performing like out of his skin Did you use that phrase? Why that phrase in my head? I think you said that. But like,
I just use out of his mind, but same thing, yeah.
I
mind
hope,
and body.
I hope it's not an anomaly. I hope this is Malen. I hope like he has arrived.
Yeah.
It took longer than we wanted, than anyone wanted. Everyone wrote him off. But if this is the player we get next year too, and the year after that, fantastic. But a lot of that is the confidence. You know what I mean? Like if he's hit these levels, and everyone goes through these ups and downs, but the fact that he's hit this level, and how many goals does he have in the second half of the season? Because he had like none in the first, maybe one.
It's
like,
at least 8.
8. Like
pretty sure it's 8 or 9. It might be 9.
If he would have, just think like if we have this player full season, you put in some like bad streaks in there, but like if he would have just a 15 to 16 goal season is great. Obviously he's not there because he didn't perform in the first half of the season, but he's showing the potential to be that type of player, which is really exciting moving forward. And again, like hopefully it sucks that like we're still on this, like we're on Bayern watch, like it's not in our hands, and it sucks like that's the case because of how these guys are performing, and it's just like was like a little too late, or we would have been running away with the title.
Yeah, and for confirmation, it is 9 goals this second half of the season so far for Malen. And it's not just the confidence too, but it's also just the system that we're, kind of adjusting to with him, having Haller as the focal point or that sharp end of the attack, and then Adeyemi and Malen both on either side of him. That looks to me like the front three we're going to go with moving forward. I mean, it's quite the attack at the moment. I mean, it's super overwhelming with the pace and also the power too. Not just from Haller, but Adeyemi with his jumping ability or his leaping ability, and Malen's shot power. So it's pretty versatile too, and it's just a very lethal attack at the moment. I mean, that's exactly what you got to see on full display.
We have the 3-headed dragon that everyone wants in their attackers. Like, we have it because they are well all scoring and all contributing. Like if you stop one on one play, guess what? Adeyemi, doesn't matter if he could have been like all the way back by Kobel and he'll still get up there and score because that's how fast he is. Like it's just they're out of control and it's Fantastic. Real quick, we're doing a quicker episode.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna. I don't know where you're gonna go. I was gonna ask if you want to talk second half and what you think might have went wrong in the second half.
Yeah, actually, I was about to touch on that. Well, I was going to say it wasn't necessarily a flawless first half, at least in defense. I mean, we still, we started a little bit more reserved than I would have liked to expect it and put them under as much pressure. And there were some moments like that, even whenever we were scoring, but it really started to show in the second half with just the lack of killer instinct, even though we were up 4 goals. I mean, but still, we've given up 4-goal leads at home before. So we just really gradually eased off. Didn't defend as well, especially with Gladbach's second goal. Fell into panic mode too for those 10, 12 minutes. And thankfully it was Kobel that stepped up big and made that, that big save that kept us still, relatively cruising towards the end whenever Gio scored. But still, just kind of backed off a little bit. And you'd expect with what's at stake, the team to keep pushing and not let Gladbach get into this game, because that first half, they look completely disinterested. They did not want to be there whatsoever. Even Casey Keller, of all people, was the commentary for this game, and he was saying right before kickoff that he doesn't imagine Gladbach is going to come with any sort of fight, but he hopes he was proven wrong. And those first 45 minutes, almost an hour, he was definitely right.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of like, was it Gladbach being good? Was it us being bad? I think after that first half performance, like, for our players to see how Gladbach's performing and we're up 4 goals, like, of course they're going to come in. Like, there's just nothing you can do. Like, they're going to come in a little more lackadaisical because they think it's going to be easy cruising second half because they have the 4-goal lead, and the first half was pretty easy cruising. And then I'm sure Gladbach got a ripping into at halftime too, because I mean, they're not really playing for anything right now at this point of the season, which I think was like Keller's point. It's like they're already on vacation and everything. Like, this is just the rest of the year. It doesn't really matter. But I'm sure Farco got in there and was like, you look ridiculous right now. Like, what's the point of you guys even being here? Like, I'm sure he ripped into them at some point, and it was, I don't know. I have no idea what he said, but he got into them to make them come out and perform a little better, to show some like pride and dignity, I guess.
And Farker can definitely be that kind of motivating factor as a coach. I mean, he's no like tactical genius or anything like that, but he does, it's not that he's not a decent tactician, but he's just one of those man managers. I mean, you can go back to throughout his career, he made a big influence at Norwich too, and pulled the team out of some really tough situations. So something that you wouldn't necessarily not expect from a coach like him at a team like that as well. But yeah, just not enough. And they just kind of lack the quality as well at times. But Gio came in and, yeah, like I said, scored. His last 4 goals have been in the 93rd minute, 82nd minute, 92nd minute, and the 94th minute. So not only is he coming off the bench to score these goals, some of them winners, but some of them the very last kick of the game.
Yeah, super sub Gio, which I thought it was funny. I mean, I don't know if funny is the right word, but like they put out a tweet that was like super sub. And I was like, I don't know how players feel about that moniker, I guess. Like, yeah, it's exciting to come in and score, but it's like, you want to be a super starter, right? Like, and while they're celebrating the fact, it's like, I don't know how Gio's taking it. But at the same point, and I think we talked about this before, like right after the World Cup, we saw Gio, like that's when he was really hitting like these last minute, like game winner, last minute goals coming off the World Cup. And like he really had something to prove, but it's just like hard for him to break into this team. And I don't know where he fits into this team either. Like he is the super sub because I don't see him taking anyone's spot, especially with, like I said, the performances with everyone up top. I don't see him sliding in the midfield with how Jude and Julian Brandt have been performing. Like there's no spot for him. So he's got to be that super sub for now.
Yeah, and it's a really good learning experience for him as a professional athlete to, be patient and earn his spot in a team like this because, yeah, like you said, I don't know where he slots in at the moment, and it's not I don't think it's a drama issue. It's not really a form issue either. It's just where do you play right now? I mean, you're not going to get into the midfield trio of Jude, Chan, and Brandt, and like I said, the front three is pretty much what we're going to go with going forward at the moment. I don't see a reason to change either any of those three going forward, at least obviously to finish out the season. And then we'll see what we could do during the off season here with, we wanted to reinforce some other parts of the pitch, but yeah, I mean, it's just an unfortunate situation for Gio at the moment, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So do you want to just look ahead at get in the match preview? So 2 matches left. We still sit 1 point behind Bayern on the table. They play on Saturday against RB Leipzig. So this is I just said we're on Bayern watch. This is the one. We're hoping Schalke, we're going to do something, and that backfired. But this is one where like hopefully a result can go our way. I've never thought I'd be cheering for Leipzig, but here we are because they play on Saturday, and then we are away at Augsburg Sunday morning, 11:30 Eastern time. And I'm glad that we had these 2 home matches to get some big results, to give us the confidence on the road, because obviously we've been good at home, but on the road, not so much. We saw what happened in Bochum, Stuttgart. God, both those were just draw nightmares. Like we drew both those matches and it was a disaster. Completely felt like a loss. So we need the 3 points here. Like there's no excuses.
Yep. There's no room for error at this point. I mean, we said that for a while now, given whenever we slipped up against Bochum, that we're going to have to be perfect for the rest of the season. And not only that, but Bayern are also going to have to slip up. So we just got to do our part. And I said I wouldn't really get excited whatsoever until we get past Augsburg and Bayern slip up. And then I can start getting hype again. But Augsburg have only won 1 in their last 9 matches. But can you guess who that win was against?
I'll just let you know.
Without looking at your phone, I see you.
Yep. Just tell me.
It's Union Berlin.
Great.
And it was also at home. So, and they're 6-6 at home this year. So obviously a lot better at home than on the road. I feel like, they're probably going to bunker down here, give us the ball, and see if we could break them down. And lately, that's exactly what we've been doing against a handful of teams. Hopefully we could do a little bit better than against Bochum, given that was the last away match, and it also a team that kind of had that low block. But yeah, we'll see. And I think this team is pretty much at the form. It's at the form. I don't know. I know it's only been like a few weeks, so I don't want to say we're at, almost an unbeatable form at the moment, because, we can slip up in moments like these. But with these last 2 home matches, it's been very, very convincing. And with pretty much everyone being back as well, I can see us pulling out a win here. Do you have any score predictions?
I was going to go 2-0. It's what I'm feeling. I think, they're going to bunker down. But I just think, like, man, the three-headed dragon, we're coming for it. Like, I think we can break them down. I think we can find the goal.
Yeah.
Or 2.
I'm going to go 2-1. I think we slip up and be our own worst enemy and concede some really stupid goal and then climb our way back into it and have a late winner.
Which we could have seen against Bochum. Like, that's what should have happened. We should have came back and won that game 3-1, 4-1. We just have to capitalize on our chances. And I think just this is me being optimistic, but I think we are going to capitalize. I don't even if we go down, I think we're going to have enough fight to pull out the points. That's what I'm hoping for, at least.
Yeah. We shall see.
Well, like we said, it was going to be a short episode, which we've tried to do the last couple of weeks because we've been both pretty busy. But I know Carver's got to leave right now. So this is a short episode. We did it. Hope you don't mind a little shorter listening this time. Also, the episode's coming out a little later again because it's been another crazy week. But we really appreciate you guys hanging out and listening. Enjoy the game this weekend. You can follow us along on Twitter and Instagram, especially during the match, to tweet along with us and send us your questions and thoughts after the match at thebvbpod. And then you can email us too, thebvbpod@gmail.com. And that's it. We'll leave a bunch of links and everything in the description of this episode like we normally do. But if you're a new listener, make sure you check that out. Give us a rating, review, Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. That'd be awesome. And we will see you guys later.
What's going on?